What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and today I'm back doing it again, covering all things Warhammer 40k. As today we focus on the brand spanking new Sept Tenets, as well as the prototype weaponry for the Tau that was seen and unveiled within the confines. That's a lot of alluding of the Psychic Awakening for the greater good. So I know that the Tau got a huge buff, as well as all the other, races, factions so far during the Psychic Awakening, but I really like what they did with the Tau because they added a way to kind of make the Farside Enclaves their own. If you guys want to see that, I do have a video for it that I will link at the end of this video, so you guys can check out all the upgrades for the Farside Enclaves. However, today we're going to look into the Sept Tenets of the Tau, starting with the turbojets. But before that, I just want to let you guys know that since all the other races had a means to create their own faction within their faction, if that makes sense. For example, Space Marines, you can create your own chapter by combining two of the tactical doctrines, I believe that's what they're called, and that you could do the exact same thing here with the Sept Tenets. Pick any two Sept Tenets, and that is the traits that your Tau will now have. So create your own world, create your own tenets, create your own lore, and use your Tau on the battlefield for the greater good. So that's amazing. So anyway, let's dive right in with the turbojets. So with this tenet, it reminds me of the old days where the Tau were really great with their jump, shoot, jump tactics. Unfortunately, this doesn't give them that. However, it's pretty interesting because you can add a 1 to your advance roll for units with the Jetpack keyword. On top of that, you could add 2 inches to the movement characteristic of Jetpack models with this tenet. So essentially it makes your Tau a little bit more maneuverable, more specifically battlesuits, drones, that kind of thing. If you're playing a game that you know it's all about maneuverability, getting to objectives on time, securing these objectives, holding on to them, turbojets would probably be the best way to give you that little bit of a speed boost, although it's not going to be very much. But hey, I don't know about you, but an extra inch or 2 inches, I'm taking it. This one can easily be looked over, but it could come in handy here and there. It is dedication to the cause, which means that you get to add a +1 to the leadership characteristic of your models with this tenet. Leadership, at least in my opinion, doesn't seem to be too big of a hindrance for you to want to take this tenet, because there's way better ones on here. But just remember it's there in case you know you're going to be doing a whole bunch of morale tests, but just take ethereals. You got bonding knives, you're good. This one is really, really good, especially if you love broadsides, or even riptides for that matter, and that is the Stabilization Systems. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a battlesuit model with this tenet, that model ignores the penalty for moving and firing heavy weapons. So this works wonders, like I said, with the Riptide, as well as with your broadside battlesuits. Combining this with the next one can really, really bring the pain. So Stabilization Systems is really good, especially when you pair it with hardened warheads. This does is that it resolves an attack made with a high yield missile pod, or secret missile, or smart missile system. Basically meaning missiles on missiles on missiles. All these missiles have an increased armor penetration by 1. Really good, because not only can you move and then shoot your missiles, but you're going to be doing more damage since you're getting through the save of your enemy. If you want a mobile broadside army, this is a very fun tactic to use. I, for one, have always loved the missiles on the battlesuits. Way back in 5th edition, I used to do the, what was it called, fire knife configuration? I don't think that's what it was called. But anyway, it's when you pair the missile pod with the plasma rifle to basically do damage on any type of enemy. And missile pods have gotten a little bit of a boost with this. I really enjoy it, and this tenet seems to be something that I'm probably going to be using pretty often in my games. This next one I know is good, but I've never used it because I don't really play Fire Warriors. Hate me, come at me at the comments. But no, Fire Warriors were never a thing for me because I really liked the Farside Enclaves, and back in the day, you could use freaking battlesuits as troop choices. However, that's not a thing nowadays, so it's kind of forcing you to play Fire Warriors if you want to get that battalion, get all those command points. But Soldiers in Arms increases the range of the For the Greater Good ability to 9 inches, which is really great because, especially if you have like a gun line of Fire Warriors, if you're going to get assault, you can literally kill the enemy before they even get a chance to get you in close combat. Really good, especially for Fire Warriors, but it also works with any other unit that has the For the Greater Good ability. This one is very interesting. It's called the Sophisticated Command Net, and what this does is first you choose a vehicle, then you fire with it. As long as you're firing at an enemy that has a single marker light or more, you can re-roll the wound rolls of 1. So as long as you hit them with a marker light, that means you get to re-roll 1s to hit, and with the Sophisticated Command Net, now you get to re-roll 1s to wound. Always take this if you're using a whole bunch of like hammerheads or sky rays, that kind of thing, just so you can kind of I wouldn't say guarantee, but it helps for you to do more damage. Interesting, but I for one never really got into the whole vehicle side of the Tau. So this is going to be a skip for me, but I could see it working on some interesting lists with a lot of vehicles, piranhas, that kind of thing. This next one I could see working with Farsight, because basically the lore behind this is that the Tau are experts in close quarters fighting, and they've customized their weapons using grenade launchers and other equipment to make them more effective up close and personal. That screams Farsight. But anyway, what this does is you get to add 4 inches to the range of assault and grenade weapons. So it's pretty good, although it doesn't work with prototype weapon systems, but 4 inches increase to your range. That just means you get to hit things before they get close enough to charge you, so it's good. Will I use it? No. I'll tell you which ones I'll use at the end, but hybridized weaponry is pretty good. This next one is one of my favorites. It's Gifted Pilots. You're such a great warrior in the skies, and I guess in the ground if you're piloting a tank. But anyway, as long as it's in your movement phase, a vehicle or monster with this tenant either didn't move or moved less than half of its range, you get to re-roll the wound rolls of 1. So making your army, I guess, kind of a gun line would help, keeping all your Riptides and your hammerheads kind of close in the back corner, and you just fire off. You're going to be re-rolling wounds of 1. As long as you get out marker lights, that's just more of an easier time to hit and damage your opponent, which is weird because, like, if you're a gifted pilot, wouldn't that mean that, like, you can do all these crazy maneuvers and still hit? It's kind of like, doesn't make sense. Like, oh yeah, I didn't move, but I could hit you real good. No. It's weird. It should be the opposite. It should be, if they moved more than half of their movement, then they could hit. But, I mean, you're a gifted pilot. Anyway, it's interesting. The lore's wonky, but yeah, it's another good one for static Tau gun lines. I love me some drones. You should love you some drones. Therefore, we all love the advanced power cells. What this does is you pick your drones and they can move 10 inches. It's good. Sometimes drones get left behind depending on what type of like battlesuit they're accompanied with. Not anymore. They move 10 inches now, so you just got to make sure you're within coherency, so you could take the damage on your drone and not on your commander. So it's good. It allows the drones to kind of keep up, and it allows marker lights to position better. 10 inches is better than whatever they could have moved before, which is 6. So it's good. Drones are fun. Maneuvering thrusters. This is strictly for battlesuits, and it allows them to advance when they fall back. Nifty. I'll leave it at that. And now let's get to my favorite one, the Up upgunned Sept Tenet. On the battlefield after battlefield, the burst cannon has proven its worth against uncounted foes. Able to slaughter light infantry with ease, many Tau upgrade this weapon to be able to punch through armored targets, and that's exactly what it does. Burst cannons are now with an AP of -1. So the burst cannon is indeed the horde killer. I know this because I've used it time and time again against Gershuan's Orcs horde. So it's fun because you could put 3 of these things on a battlesuit. Battlesuits come in minimum of squads of 3 up to squads of 9. So let's say you have a Death Star of 9 battlesuits, each with 3 burst cannons. That is 27 burst cannons. I believe each burst cannon is it 3 shots or 4 shots? So let's say it's 3 shots. So 3 times 27 is 54. You're shooting 54 shots at the enemy at -1. Pair it with a bunch of stratagems. You can be hitting on 2s, re-rolling. This is the way to take down hordes and mobs and termagants and orcs and all that. This is probably the best thing you could do. Upgunned, I've always used when this book came out, and it's done wonders for me. It sucks that it doesn't work with the high yield burst cannon. It only works strictly on burst cannons, none of the variants. So really cool, really fun, great mower down of hordes. But just imagine if you could pair it with prototype weapons. You have the Gatling burst cannon, range 18, assault 4, strength 5, 1 damage. So you'd be doing 4 shots at -1 AP. But on top of that, any unmodified hit roll of 6 would be doing an additional hit. That's going to be a lot of hits. I can understand why they said it works strictly on non-prototype weapons. But yeah, the Gatling burst cannon would be amazing. But anyway, now that we're talking about the weapons, let's dive into the prototype weapons for the Tau. So beginning with the cross-link stabilizer jet, this would have been great with that one sept that is like the opposite, the gifted pilots, because that's literally what it is. A commander, an XV8 crisis battlesuit, or a bodyguard. Whenever you make an attack by a ranged weapon, you get to re-roll hits of 1 and wounds of 1. It doesn't matter if you've moved less than half your max. You can move, you can not move. As long as you have this, you're re-rolling your hits and your wounds of 1. So this is what the other one should be, in my opinion. Really awesome prototype weapon system. Another one that's pretty cool is the high-powered incinerators. Basically, your battlesuit has turned up the volume of the flamers, making the range 8, assault d6. But on top of this, whenever you make a weapon attack, when you're at half range or less, you get to add 1 to your strength. So potentially, you could be hitting automatically with strength 5 d6 shots. Really great. Not as good as the burst cannons and just against hordes, but it's also pretty cool. The amplified ion accelerator for the Riptide has been amplified. For example, each hit roll of 1, you suffer a mortal wound, but you get a huge bolster to it. Your range is 72. You either get a type heavy 6 with its strength 8 -4 AP, 3 damage, or you can overcharge it to strength 9 -4 AP, and you do 3 plus D3 damage. So yeah, this one's a good one, especially if you like your Riptide spam. Then all your friends are going to hate you for it. But of course, it's limited to 1 per detachment, I believe, or 1 per game. Anyway, you can't just spam these prototype weapons. Another one that's also pretty interesting is the Network Markalite that you use for the Pathfinder team. Essentially, it gives you the use of a 36-inch range Markalite. Could come in handy. This next one is literally exactly what its name says. Annihilation Warheads. This is for the Storm Surge, the big boy of the Tau. And whenever you make an attack with a destroyer missile, you don't roll to determine the number of wounds suffered. It simply just deals 3 mortal wounds. So no need to pray to the dice gods on this one. You're just taking out a huge chunk of the enemy. And the last one that I'll talk about for today is the High Capacitance Railgun. That's an interesting word there. So you use it for a hammerhead gunship, and it makes your weapon system a little bit different. The range is 60 for a solid shot or a submunition, heavy 2 or heavy 4 D3. Now, the thing that's really cool about this one is if you use the solid shot, whenever you make a wound roll of a 6, you automatically inflict D3 mortal wounds in addition to any other damage, and that damage being D6. So if you hit with your 2 shots, you're doing at maximum 18 damage. That's crazy. That's what the railgun should be doing every single time. At least in 5th edition, it was doing work, and then slowly, edition by edition, it just got nerfed. And this is kind of like their way of saying, railguns are king again. So yeah, there's a bunch more prototype weapon systems in here. Go ahead and pick up your copy of Psychic Awakening, The Greater Good, because it's not just great for the Tau, there's a few nifty things for the Gene Stealer cults as well as the Astra Militarum, and the lore in it is pretty amazing as well. So yeah, that's all I got for today. Let me know what 2 Sept Tenets you will be combining to create your own Tau Sept. If you have any fan lore for the Tau, send it on over to us. We can make a video showcasing your lore if you guys want that. And yeah, if you want to see my own personal Tau lore, go ahead and check out the Burning Moon Contingent. It's my own personal lore that kind of stems off of the Farside Enclaves. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe for more 40k content, and hit us up on Patreon for $1 a month. If not, we understand, but you know, it is what it is. Stay safe, stay healthy, practice social distancing, because we are in an era of uncertainty. This is the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll see you guys in the next one.